Hello and welcome to the Sheila Beth Show. Welcome to another episode. I'm so excited because today I've got a guest and it's the lovely Adelie, and she's going to be talking to us about fashion. As you can see, our background is very artsy. This topic today is a very artistic topic. It's all about creativity. It's all about being a self-starter and following your dreams, and that's something really big on my list. So Adelie, please introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing.
So my name is Adelie. I'm from France and I do many things, but one of those things is working on my own fashion brand called Double Double.
Yes.
And I just started it about, I think the idea came up 2 years ago, and I'm just going to launch my collection now.
It's a cool name. Tell us a
Thank
little bit
you.
about Double Double. What's it all about? Because for me, it's the concept that's really got me interested in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Double Double basically came out of. I'm obsessed with suits, sets, and everything matching, and especially like sets and suits from the 70s. And I've always been obsessed with that.
Yeah.
And basically 2 years ago, I was living in Nairobi, and I was working a lot in Kenyan schools, and I got so obsessed with Kenyan school uniforms, and I just love the way they look and how all the students match and how they match the colors of their school.
Yeah.
And it really became almost an obsession where I was like, oh, they're matching, it's double. Like, I don't know,
It's so crazy to me because I grew up wearing school uniforms from primary school to high school, and we were always complaining about, we hate uniforms. And sometimes, like when we were in high school, a lot of girls, we were made to wear really big skirts that didn't fit well and, weren't flattering at all. So it was so interesting to me to imagine that someone would look at that and think, wow, that's beautiful. Like, I really want to replicate that somehow. But that's really cool because it's a different lens, from how I would look at it. And from seeing your products, which you guys will see a little bit, because I did some behind the scenes. She had a photo shoot about 2 days ago, and I did some behind the scenes. So you'll see how the outfits are really nicely put together. In fact, she's wearing one of them, and I'll show you a bit of that later. You can't see it now because we're both seated. How did it become from, wow, I like the look of the matching outfits, to I'm going to start a clothing line based on this idea?
So it kind of started as a joke, not as a joke, but it was with a friend. We kept like sending each other pictures of people wearing the same outfit, and like people were like wearing matching outfits in the streets and all of that. And at the same time, because I was so obsessed with like school uniforms, I started getting some like outfit made, like tailored outfit. I would go to the tailor in CBD and like buy some fabric, some school uniform fabric like this one, and get some like fitted, tailored like high-waisted trousers and like bustier.
Yeah.
And I started wearing them out in Nairobi, and I mean Nairobi is such a like, to me it's like everyone is super fashionable here.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I was like always like kind of impressed.
I think more of West Africa when you say fashionable. I think a lot of Kenyans, especially nowadays, maybe in the last 10 years, really dress up. Like people are ahead on fashion. But I've never really, because you're French, first of all, guys, she's from France. She grew up in Paris, the fashion capital. So for her to say Nairobians are fashionable, that's a really big compliment.
It is, but it's real. Like I would go out to like play like the cool Nairobi hotspots like the Alchemist or like to thrift social, those places, and I would be like so like impressed like the
because
way
everyone has a different look. It's not like a uniform appearance.
No.
People have different styles, and you can kind of distinctively tell.
And you can tell that people really like put on some efforts and go to like the Mitumbas and like wear amazing.
Yes,
like
that's a big
I
part
don't know,
of Kenyan shopping.
It is, and I was really always like really impressed. And like some people started telling me like, oh, I like your outfit. So I would be like, oh my god, like just like amazing, like fashionable person like it.
Yeah. Maybe there's something here.
Yeah, maybe there is something here. And I've always been, like, I don't come from a fashion background at all. I actually studied politics and worked in more kind of like the, let's say, like NGO or diplomacy sector.
Yeah, that's actually how we met. We met in a completely different sector. And we're both now very much in the creative industry, which is quite exciting and interesting, I think.
It is. I feel it's something that's always there.
Yeah.
until there is a moment where you just like, okay, I
just
have
go
to do
in.
it.
Yeah,
I have to
exactly.
follow my dream and
Yeah.
start doing it.
Did you ever design your clothes when you were growing up? Or did you ever kind of imagine yourself getting into the fashion industry somehow?
Weirdly, never, because I always saw the fashion industry. Maybe it's like the way I saw it in France.
Yeah.
But I always saw it as kind of like uptight and
Yes, that's true.
lame. Not lame, but like not lame, but like, you know, like too, like people working in fashion would be like too pretentious. And
yes,
you know,
I hear
and
what you mean. Yes.
I've also always been kind of like aware that like, you know, fast fashion was like really like unsustainable and bad for the environment. So you know, I was always kind of like, I've always loved fashion. I've always like, you know, like loved going to like mitumbas or like secondhand like shops.
Did you do it back in France?
Yeah.
You also did a lot of thrift shopping.
A lot.
Okay.
Like I think like half of my wardrobe is like secondhand clothing.
So you know what's funny? For you, you did buy mitumbas or thrift clothes because you were trying to be sustainable. You're trying to be conscious of, you know, the environment, of wastage and that sort of thing. But for us, we went because it was cheap.
I know.
So if you needed outfits, you're like a teenager, but you have a sense of style, and you want to be able to pick something that you like. Usually, the cheaper new clothes were not really fashionable. They were from Asia, and they were just basically not really style oriented for the longest time. I think now it's evolved because you can get things for like 1,000 shillings, a little over for like in fashion. But then in the past, it was too expensive. So you went to buy stuff in the mitumba places, and you found really stylish, unique outfits. That was another part of it, because Kenyans have this thing where they don't like to be uniform. Like, you don't want to wear a dress and then go to an event and see someone in exactly the same dress. So if you went to like a store, you'd probably do that. You know, you'd have a dress and then someone would have the exact same dress. And then you'd feel like, oh, I don't like that, so let me go buy thrift clothes so that I can be unique. I can have my own look.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Sheila look. It's a, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so how is it so far? How are you working on this line? Do you draw your designs yourself? What's the step-by-step process from beginning to the like, final outfits?
I drew the design myself. So as I said, I don't have a fashion background, but I've always loved kind of drawing clothes. So I thought that I would just give it a go. And I drew it, and tailors that would kind of like try to, you know, like make my weird drawing and dreams come into life.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to France, and there I met a really amazing pattern maker.
Yeah.
And she helped me like make really fitted patterns for like a lot of different sizes, because I really like high-waisted and kind of like fitted crop tops, but they need to be...
they have to fit different body shapes, sizes. Yeah.
Exactly, and like she worked really well. So the trousers actually have fit like literally like every single body type. And the good thing is that like at first I thought about those clothes to
because you started it for yourself. You
Yeah,
were designing
exactly.
your own clothes. So
Yeah,
you were designing for your body.
Yes.
But then now when you want to go into fashion and sell to other people, you have to think about all those little things. Everyone has a different shape, different size, and different cuts kind of complement different shapes.
And it's still like quite a challenge, because I think the trousers that really fit like every body type, but the tops are actually like much harder to like produce and make than like but like not
and
only
then
for
also
me.
the fabric that school uniforms come in, isn't it a little bit less kind of stretchy or movable? It's more of a stiff material, right?
It is like cotton, so it doesn't stretch, so the cut has to be really well sewed. So I worked on that process with this amazing girl who did all those patterns, and then I started making like prototypes and samples.
How long is this taking? Like, can you give us a timeline as we talk about it? So when you met the lady who was teaching you how to now design for different body types, how long ago was this?
A year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started doing prototypes. And so the interesting thing is that this fabric, gingham, that's used for school uniforms in Kenya, we have the same in France. It's called Vichy, and it's been used a lot in like high fashion, like Chanel and Dior used to make like beautiful dresses in the 50s.
Yeah, I remember the little, the really cute, and actually you have that similar style. The cuts are very 50s, and then they had those like cute little kind of prim and proper dresses.
Exactly.
And I really like the fashion of that time.
It's beautiful
Yeah,
because
is
it's
so-
all
and
like
it's very
high-waisted.
feminine as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but so I thought, oh, that's an interesting connection, and that's what I really enjoy with fabrics and fashion in general, is that like you can actually like find some like connections and links that you would never think about before, like and so I started working with this French material to do the prototypes.
Okay.
And I started wearing them out again and like having friends trying them on, especially the tops, to like adjust and like, you know, make sure that it would fit the most people. And the interesting thing is that someone, like a guy friend, also tried it on one day because he wanted
a top.
No, trousers.
One of the trousers.
One of the trousers, and the trousers looked amazing on him. And like, then I was like, oh,
a high-waisted trouser.
Yes.
Okay.
And it actually looks super cool because like I love the 70s, so I love high-waisted.
I also really love high-waisted trousers.
On guys and girls, I think it's amazing.
I've never imagined that on guys though, because I remember when we were kids, there was this man, so it was fashion back in the day. There's a time when it was kind of fashionable for men to wear high-waisted trousers, but then they weren't like fitting trousers. They were more baggy, but then you'd have a belt like up on your waist. And I remember there was this man where I grew up who used to wear his like really high up, like above his waist. And we always laughed at him. We thought he looked a bit ridiculous. So my impression of high-waisted pants on a man is kind of comical a little bit. So I would actually really love to see how these look on, the fitted ones look on men.
Well, they look, I don't know if you remember for the photo shoot, we had Chief wearing some.
Oh, he had the high-waisted one.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't notice it was high-waisted, so that's also interesting. That's actually interesting because it fits so well that you don't even notice it's really a high-waisted.
And so I have different sizes, and he was just wearing the largest size.
Yeah.
And it really fit him. And so I thought about this collection being as well like unisex and kind of like genderless or gender fluid, and I'm really pleased about it. So I also like made some shirts, kind of like large sleeved and either cropped or long shirts as well, so anyone can wear double.
Anyway, wear double. Do you often wear double? Like when you design, I've seen you mostly in your pants.
Yes.
And these ones I haven't seen before, and they're so cute. And I think I know a school that used to wear this fabric.
Really?
I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, this like it's so interesting to see it styled so beautifully, because we used to have just very, they just drop. I remember my primary school outfit was kind of a maternity dress.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't have a waist, it was just like a straight dress. And that's what we wore to school. So we had a different attitude about it, but it's nice to kind of refresh that and kind of see it in a more funky, colorful way and repurpose it. So you're an adult, you don't have to wear a uniform, but you're wearing one because you want to. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, in France we don't have to wear uniforms at school. So maybe that's why I love them so much. And,
I was going to ask you that, because if you did grow up wearing uniforms, I wonder if you'd feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I think it's the novelty of it, of this being something strange that you didn't see often.
Exactly.
But then we also watch a lot of movies, and especially in the UK, you see kids who go to very expensive schools wear uniforms. Does that also happen in France? Is there any school that wear uniforms?
I think
or
like
none at all?
There must be like maybe like 10 or 20 schools, like really like the
very exclusive,
like exclusive ones. But you would never ever see like a student walking in the street wearing a uniform. Never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, but then the interesting thing is, because I joined, like I said earlier, I went for a photo shoot that she was doing, and the ones who were modeling are Kenyan. They grew up wearing uniforms, but they really loved it, and they both wanted to have these clothes for themselves. Yeah. So are you finding that Kenyans are also really embracing this new style?
To be honest, like I've had like a lot of people, because I've been wearing also like the trousers that I've been making and the tops, and a lot of like people around like Nairobi have been like asking me like, oh, where is that from? I want it. So it's maybe there is I don't know, people kind of want to.
You've just given it a whole different look, and people can see themselves embracing that.
And I also have some like more plain kind of like colors.
Yeah,
so
like black. I saw black. What other colors do you have?
Black linen. So this first collection, it's black linen. So black linen is perfect because it's it won't remind you of any
school at all. Yes.
And I have this brown gingham. I have also a red one, which is beautiful, and another tartan, purple and black, which I really love.
That's my favorite one. The purple and black. Now that it's double, it's in the name, it's in the look, and you said that you really like that uniform, that kind of repeated pattern. Do you think you'll ever evolve or diversify the look of double outside of school uniforms, especially like Kenyan-based school uniforms?
I think that school uniforms were definitely like my biggest inspiration for this first collection.
Yeah.
I don't know how the second collection will be.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I would definitely want to stick to like sets and like matching and
because
cohorts.
That's the look you've loved for the longest time.
Exactly, that's the look I've loved, and also like I've always found it hard to find like really nice kind of like cohorts and matching sets in like other brands. So I'm quite happy that like that's also why I started doing
That's true. You never really see, like you see sometimes patterns that look like school uniforms, kind of done in like real fashion, like current fashion, real fashion. So you see it in fashion, like you see checkered clothes and things like that. But it's maybe a skirt or it's a pair of pants, but it's never matching.
It's never matching.
Yeah, and I don't know when we lost that, but I do think it's a really cool look.
It is. To be honest, it is, and I'm also I love West African photo studios from the 70s. So from photographer.
Oh, with the Kitenge background or Ankara.
So like Malik Sidibe or Seydou Keita, those photographers in like Ivory Coast or Mali, they would always photograph families or people like always like wearing this matching outfits, and like I also developed a huge obsession with like those pictures, and that's why like for the photo shoot I was really asking the models to like try and
kind of recreate
this type of like photo studio family vibe, and you know like I'm not interested into the like
high fashion,
exactly,
really big pausing and that kind of thing. Yeah, I did notice that in the photo shoot, and you'll see it because I have some videos which I'll show you guys. Yeah, but this is so interesting. So, do you see yourself continuing with a uniform brand, or do you think it'll change over time?
I'll definitely stick to
other
the sets.
prints, maybe flowers.
But maybe I'll go like with other prints indeed.
Okay.
And also like obviously I love Kenya a lot, and I've been coming here for
hata anazungumza Kiswahili
kidogo tu. Nimesahau Kiswahili changu kabisa, lakini nilisomea kwa miaka 5 na niliishi Zanzibar na
ulisoma wapi Kiswahili?
Lamu na Zanzibar. Kiswahili sanifu.
Kiswahili sanifu.
Ndio.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Lakini nimesahau kila kitu kabisa. Tafadhali tunaweza kuongea Kiingereza?
Yeah, tunaweza rudi kwa Kiingereza. Yeah, but this is quite decent. I mean, she made a whole 2-3 sentences in Kiswahili.
Asante.
So, yeah, that's pretty decent. I think it's just like we were saying earlier, with language you have to practice it to keep it. Otherwise, if you're not around, if you don't have to speak it, then it's quite easy to lose it. But often it's like riding a bicycle.
Exactly.
When you get back on, it just comes back. It's just a rewiring of the brain.
I have a long history with Kenya, and that's where the idea started. And I've been working with amazing tailors with Design Collab, which is a sustainable tailoring and manufacturing studio based in Nairobi. And I really loved working with them. They did an amazing job. And
what are they called again?
Design Collab.
Design Collab.
Yeah,
okay.
And they have like this all sustainable kind of like ideas and values that I really respect and want to work with.
Yeah. And I really just quickly to interject, I want to really commend tailors, because I remember last year when COVID-19 hit, a lot of tailors and a lot of designers started to make masks as kind of a community, giving back to the community effort. So I remember like there's this lady, I forget her name, but she designs wedding dresses and wedding outfits, and she started to sell, if you bought 2 masks, one would be given to someone in need.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's really cool that now, small pieces of fabric that usually would be thrown out because there was no use for them started to be made into masks, and that's also no wastage, which is really cool.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's actually also something I really want to do, is like try to have the least fabric waste possible. So everything, like all the waste, I've been collecting them to make little props like this.
So
and
cute,
I think I have I need to go back to the design studio tomorrow, but I think I have plenty of waste, and I'm gonna try to make masks and other things because I really don't want to have any waste.
Yeah.
And I'll see. I think maybe next collection will be again inspired by Kenyan school uniforms because I've seen so many other fabrics that I want to work with.
Yeah.
But maybe I also see myself maybe working with other fabrics or maybe.
This is the beginning of it, but it will evolve over time and become something else.
We will see. Maybe we'll see. I have no idea how it's going to evolve.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works first.
Yeah. Okay, so we had to take a little break, but we're back. And I was just asking Adelie about how she sources her fabrics. And because you've talked about wanting to kind of create sustainable products and also be aware of environmental effects and try to reduce wastage as much as possible. So how do you source your fabric? And
so that's why I really enjoyed working with Design Collab because I know that they are in their process, they're sustainable and they have a big social responsibility. But
where are they based?
They're based in Karen.
Okay.
Yeah, between Langata and Karen.
All right.
Actually, clothes that are made in 100% cotton are sustainable because it's all natural, and then you would have to kind of look at the process of making it, how responsible is the factory that makes it.
Yes.
But the first quite challenging problem I had was to find 100% pure cotton, and actually none of the school uniform fabric I found were 100%. Yeah. So I went to a lot of different shops in town, in CBD, found some amazing one, and I talked to a lot of amazing people, but a lot of them actually could not really tell me the exact percentage of cotton, or it was quite unclear.
Yeah.
So that was the first challenge, and then I started looking I wanted to source locally fabric, fabric made in Kenya and sustainable, and that happened to be quite challenging as well because I, from what I read, I don't want to say anything wrong, but I read that the Mat Mitumba business that we started talking, we talked about earlier, actually kind of
it affected the textile industry in Kenya, absolutely.
And that a lot of textile fabrics started closing, and also with globalization.
Because we had a big textile industry, and then it just disappeared at some point.
I guess with globalization as well, and import and export with China and Asia, it kind of shifted everything.
Yeah.
But now there are very few actual Kenyan-based factories that make fabric, and the ones that I found are not necessarily eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So that was
maybe
challenging
it's very difficult for them to do it, because I think being eco-friendly is obviously the ideal thing to do, but it isn't as easy as it's sometimes portrayed to be. You have to really, really be dedicated to wanting to be sustainable. And like you said, for you it was quite a journey looking for the right product.
Exactly, yeah.
But you could have said, let me just do the easiest thing and buy the product that I can find and work with that. So I think it takes a bit of dedication and really genuinely, deliberately wanting to make a difference, which adds up in the end, and it's so important and that people are doing this more and more nowadays.
Exactly, but in the end I sadly, for this first collection, it was too challenging to actually really look for the perfect fabric, so I worked with what I had, but it's definitely one of my next goal and one of my next step is to source better, more eco-friendly and sustainable fabric. It's definitely the next big step.
Speaking of that, would you consider making your own?
I would love to make my own fabric, but after my own...
Or is that an entire industry on its own?
It is. My whole journey in fashion is so... I mean, I'm learning every day since I didn't know much.
You're learning as you go. You're learning
exactly.
as you go.
So I'm learning as well about fabric, about how it's made, and I would love to make fabric.
Yeah.
But I think an important point to raise as well is... As part of the sustainability, obviously me living in France and coming to Kenya to work on this is not sustainable. You know,
No.
taking the plane is not like sustainable.
Yeah.
So it's also some things that I have to think about.
Yeah.
Because I started.
I think the intention is really important, and it's
Mm-hmm.
good that you're thinking ahead and seeing I can do this better over
Exactly.
time,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that will now help you to actually get there.
Exactly. So that's also part of the, you know, the process and have.
Okay.
Voilà.
So finally, what's your dream for Double Double? What do you see it doing in the next, I don't know how many, 10 years?
My dream for Double Double is to everyone. I would love that everyone
Is wearing uniforms on the street.
wearing like not necessarily double
Yeah.
outfits, but would wear like suits and sets and cords and like. No, it's not my dream. I'm kidding. But
Okay.
I would love. I just would really like this first collection to work and people to enjoy it and people to feel good in the
Yeah.
clothes. To me, that's the most important. Like the first step,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I have already so many ideas for the second collection,
Yeah.
and I would love to work a bit more in creative direction because I really enjoy like I have so many inspirations.
Yeah,
of,
because
like,
right now, like you said, you're doing little crop tops, and
Yeah.
you're doing pants, and you're also doing shirts. Are you
Yes.
expanding into other types of outfits, like maybe dresses, shorts, that kind of thing? Because I think with the high-waisted, like little beach shorts would be
Yes,
so cute.
so I think we can also keeping the same pattern, just
Yeah.
making shorts would look amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to make skirts as well. I would love to make like proper actual suits with like the jacket, to make matching trench.
Yes.
Like I want everything to be matching. Little bags,
Yeah.
like I have too many ideas,
Yeah.
not enough time.
No, you'll get the time.
Yeah.
You just do these things slowly over time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And I would like also, really like to get more involved into creative direction because I really enjoy like sharing my ideas for the photo shoot.
Yes, of course.
And have many inspiration and so that's my plans for the future.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your dream with us and sharing your art with us. And until next time, guys, it's been the Sheila Beth Show.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.